Definition of greatness is to inspire the people next to you. I think that's what greatness is or should be. It's not something that lives and dies with one person. It's how can you inspire a person to then in turn inspire another person that then inspires another person. And that's how you create something that I think lasts forever. And I think that's our challenge as people, is to figure out how our story can impact others and motivate them in a way to create their own greatness.
What is going on? This is your boy, Coach Coleman, Jesse Coleman, and you're checking into Breakthrough Blueprint, the podcast, where we help you tap into your full potential. What's going on, everybody? This episode is going to be a little bit different. This episode is going to be a little bit hard, yet we always talk about breakthroughs. We always talk about what can go wrong, will go wrong. We always talk about how we still push through whatever happens, and that's what we're gonna do today. If you are watching on YouTube or you heard the intro, that was a little snippet, and there's a photo on there, and the photo is me and my pops. April 17th. My parents and my sister was in a car accident, and unfortunately, April 18th. That moment, that day, my father he transitioned, and it's been a rough time since then. Like, it's been rough, and also it's been constant go go go, because when it comes to funerals and when it comes to the situation where it was a car accident that they had, and there's investigations going on, and there's a lot of different things going on, so it's still a lot of pieces of the puzzle that we're putting together, and a lot of stuff that's going on that we're yeah, it's just been rough. And I wanted to record this podcast, this episode last week, but I knew that probably wasn't going to work right. So I gave myself a little bit of extra time to be able to come and push through and record the episode. But well, here we are. We here, and man, yeah, it's a rough thing, man. It's I seem like, I mean, I feel like that it is a situation where we talk about so much on all the episodes, even with the guests and things like that, and we talk about how certain things have happened in their life, or things are going to potentially happen in your life, and when it does, it's like you still got to push through. And I can I can say I've been doing that. I've had my moments, and I had one moment last week where I just completely just broke down, and it just hit me. A lot of people have been saying that you're so strong, and we're proud of you making it through. And honestly, I still haven't completely processed what's going on, and that my dude is no longer here, and I'll never get to see his face again. I'll never get to hear his voice. Our family trips that we usually take every year, he's not going to be there. Our first one's coming up in 2 months, and that's going to be a hard thing, because we're so used to having him there doing the family trips that he's not going to be there this time. And just thinking about it, the reality of it is that, yeah, trying to find that new norm, because things are no longer going to be normal. It's no longer going to be what it was, and really just pushing through that to get to the other side. And I've always been, straight up and open with you all. So I did want to, record a podcast about this. I did want to, go into it and just say, like, hey, we're dealing with breakthroughs. Like, I'm in the middle of dealing with a breakthrough right now, and I'm just grateful that a lot of people that I know have reached out to me that's dealt with this exact same situation of losing a parent, losing a father, and giving me some advice. And one thing I can say is taking my own advice of when I've always talked to people that's dealing with situations like this and say, hey, you grieve the way you grieve, and it's not up to anybody else how you grieve. Nobody else can tell you how to grieve. They can give you feedback on how they handle situations, but it's up to you if how you're going to grieve through the situation. And I'm going through it. So, we're just going to talk about a few things of dealing with this situation and how I'm navigating it and what's going on. And my dad, man, like, that was my dog, man. Like, I can say once this happened and me looking back at life and the amazing time, because we just celebrated his 73rd birthday. His birthday's the 11th, my mother's birthday the 13th of April, and we just celebrated both of their birthdays. And then the 17th, the situation happened. But just just thinking about, excuse me, thinking about his role in my life, and it really hit me when I got older that I'm a lot like my pops. Like some of my mannerisms, some of the things I do, that I'm a lot like him. And this situation has let me know that, man, he really prepared me and prepped me to have to step up and you know be the man for my sister and my mother. I have to be there, I have to step up, and I have to fulfill that role. And seeing how he was there for us, how he was there for his wife, how he was there for his kids, but also how he was there for everybody else. Like at his funeral, we didn't do remarks or anything, but I did, share some remarks and talking to a lot of people. And his big thing was he always wanted to be there for people. And I started to realize as I'm talking to a lot of people and I'm thinking about life and a lot of the things I saw is that that's where I get it from. He always wanted to help. He always wanted to be there for people. I shared it at his funeral that it was amazing to me that his siblings, he always remembered when somebody's birthday was. He had a little notepad with everybody's phone number on it. He would get that notepad out every day and he's on the phone having conversations with everybody. Like he was always checking in on people, and that was just him. Whenever there were some situations that happened, he was there to donate money. He was there to donate time. He was always there to donate things. And I realized in that moment is that, man, that's where I get it from. I get a lot of that from him and my mother. And it's just amazing that we are who we it rubs off on us. My friend Cal said it before, and I shared this at the funeral, and it said, when you were born you look like your parents, when you die you look like your choices. And he looked, and I said this at the funeral, I had to apologize to church, but I'm like, my man looked damn good because the choices he made to be the person he was, his personality, his values, his impact that he shared, and what he meant to a lot of people. you know, he had his auntie, he had his sister that it was 10 of them, and one of his sisters that he was real close to. He talked to her on the phone every day. His neighbor, he was always out there talking to him. Like he was that type of person for people where he always wanted to be there for them. And and this is where I get it from. And I realized, like, man, that's why I am the way I am, where I always want to be there. I always want to impact people. Breakthrough Blueprint, the podcast where we help you tap into your full potential of helping people, because I got that from him. And it's just thinking about, his life, and then thinking about, like, man, grief is a weird thing, man. I've been in this weird place since everything happened. You know, going through a lot of emotions. And I will say this, that a lot of people, because I didn't cry at the viewing, I didn't cry at the funeral, I didn't cry at the burial, but the situation of the accident, I think what was really broke me and create that sadness in me. Because, hearing, from the doctor of the level of his injuries and what the outcome could be. I think that part what really broke me. But then also, seeing my sister and mother who were, with him at the time it happened, of, seeing their pain. So that thing, that situation there was really the thing that really broke me and took me over the edge. That when it was time for the funeral, that I'm like, man, I got broken from, hearing, what he had to go through, right? That's the part that broke me. This is where, we all say like he's resting, he's at peace now. He's with the Lord. Like that was a little bit more comforting than the part of dealing with what he had to go through. And there's so many different emotions when it comes to grief. You got the sadness that hit me, the confusion that hit me of like, I was at my parents' house the day it happened. I just saw them before they went to go do the things they needed to do. And it was that confusion of like, damn, did this really happen? And then the anger set in because of the situation that happened. And I can't go into too much details right now, but the situation that what happened was it created that anger in me. But one thing that I can say that stayed with me through all those different emotions was the gratitude of the time I got to spend with him, the gratitude of the father he was to us, the gratitude of the grandfather he was, the gratitude to the husband he was, the gratitude to the friend and sibling that he was, helped me ease a little bit of that. And then also, going into my faith, like I told somebody like, man, when that happened, I feel like I got closer in my faith. I don't know how to explain it. I didn't get further away from it or, blame, and I got closer into it. It's just like, man, I am grateful for the time I had to be with him. I'm grateful for just, 2 weeks prior to that, I got to sit down and watch, Michigan win the national championship at basketball with him. And a few years prior, got to watch Michigan win the national football championship with him. So I just started thinking about those things and how I'm grateful that I was able to spend that time with him. And that thinking about that thing, that gratitude and going deep into my faith really helped me through these different level of sadness. And it was shared to me like when it first happened with some of my friends or people I know that dealt with the situation of, bro, it's gonna come in waves. Like you're never gonna know when it's gonna come. You're never gonna know when it's gonna hit you. There's no set schedule. There's no time block for when grief hits you. I mean, you know, being very transparent and honest, I got right back to it. I'll be honest with you all. I needed to find some sense of normalcy. So that Monday, Saturday he passed. That Monday, I was right back in the gym. And with the people I was working with, I work out with, I told them about it. And yeah, I started crying in the gym. I was in the store and a situation happened. I started crying where there's no set schedule of when grief and what form of grief is going to hit you. And that's okay. You know, grief is not something that you get over. And I'm learning that it's just something that you just carry. It's something you just deal with. That that wave does hit you, you just let it go. It's no holding it back. You don't try to stop it. I'm learning to lean into that, and I'm also learning that it was David Goggins that said something. And let me say that I've been leaning heavily on David Goggins, Jocko, and Et. I've been leaning heavy on them, and Goggins said something like putting yourself through I'm gonna mess up through trauma or pain or something like that. That way you are prepared for when it actually happens. So he talked about how him running 200 miles and stuff is putting him through that stress that when something happened, he's dealing with that. So I say that to say that there has been times when I've dealing with this. I went in the car and I put on certain songs that I know is gonna make me get emotional, or sit there and look at pictures of him because I know it's going to get me emotional because I want to I don't want to keep this stuff locked in, and I want to be able to get those feelings out. and then and one thing that I stayed true to is that life does not pause. And people like, man, you back to it, you back doing that. I had a teaching gig, and they reached out to me and said, hey, you know what, we totally understand if you want to cancel this. And I'm like, no, I need this. I can't cancel this. I have to do this. One of my close friends, she even offered, she said, hey, I'll step in and I'll teach the class for you. And I'm like, no, I actually need this. I have to. I need some sense of normalcy. And the reality of it is like we still have responsibilities. I still have people that I'm coaching that's counting on me. My family's still counting on me to show up a certain way. Being a leader, I have to show up in a certain way. Now I am dealing with that tension or that bumping of the heads of needing to process and needing to perform. Yet the jury's still out, right? I don't know if I'm doing good at it or not because it's this shit doesn't come with a guidebook. So I'm still making sure that I'm still trying to figure that part out. But I'm still showing up. I still want to do the things I need to do. I still want to coach my people. I still want to teach. I still want to record the podcast and drop it because I feel, I don't only want to give you all when things are good, but this is life. Shit happens. And we can't go wrong, we'll go wrong, but it's just how we show up. And my perspective has shifted for some things. And one of my friends said this. He's like, "You're not going to care a lot more about certain things." And I'm like, "Bro, I already don't care about a lot of stuff now, right?" Honestly, but he was like, "No, it's going to be different." And I realized and we talked about this before, but now I really, really get it at a higher level. It's like if I can't control things, I don't care. If people don't want to do business with me, if people don't want to, have conversations with me, then I don't care. If this doesn't work out, I don't care. I really don't care because that's not much what's important. What's most important right now is the importance of time with my family, my friends, the people I love, doing the things I love. And you hear me all talk about that all the time. That is the most important thing to me. It's time. We don't know how much we got, right? We were just talking about our family trip and how, we're gonna go and have a great time. And time was like, well, it's not gonna work out that way. We think we have time until we realize we don't. Another thing that made me think about it is going back to the people in your life. It's the importance of relationships, man. Shout out to my people that's been checking in. Shout out to my people that's been there. Like my homies, my mother's neighbors, other family members. Like the week it happened, they showed up in a big way with food. Like that was a big thing. Like we didn't have to worry about food. We were planning a funeral. We were planning all these things, and those relationships, those people that he touched, that care about us, they showed up in a big way. And again, I'm going to say this again. We think we have time until we realize we don't. And I always want to think. I want to look at it as it's think of it from the point of view of legacy over loss, right? Not thinking about the loss, choosing how I'm going to honor him, And I made a vow. I made a goal that I want to impact 1 million people in a positive way. Now, when I say that, that could be financially. So that means I gotta get to it. It's grind mode. I want to help people financially. I want to help people emotionally. I want to help people physically. I want to help people, you know, transformation to getting from a place where they are to a place that they want to be. And the goal is that's a legacy that I'm looking at is how can I impact 1 million people? And that's one of the key parts that's gonna live through me, through him. Is just showing up and being there, caring for people. Let them know that they're thought about, they're cared about. Getting better at reaching out to people. Not being too busy to check on the people I love and the people I truly care about. and that's what I want to carry forward. That's what I want to be more purposeful about doing. And then also, some of the homies we say, hey, let's do a half marathon. Let's do something to honor him, to make it happen. And I do want to shout out to my people. So my dad was a big Bears fan. He was a big Michigan fan, more so because of me, but he was a big Bears fan. So we buried him in his Gale Sayers Bears jersey. Shout out to my dog John, who got a Bears flag that we draped over the coffin that we put in the coffin with him. We put in his Michigan jersey in there. But shout out to my people who made it their business to honor him by wearing blue and orange on the Saturday of his funeral, and they all sent me screenshots, pictures of it. They posted it on social media. Like, that goes back to the importance of relationship of people willing to do that and honor him. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure I honor him by stepping up and helping taking care of the fam and being there for them, playing that important role, because now in my immediate family I am the only man. So honoring him by doing that, and just l- living how he lived, and focusing on that legacy over loss is what I want to do. One thing I also learned is grief and strength can coexist. Like, that shit can go hand in hand. You could be hurting and still strong, and I learned that because, again, so many people reached out to me like, "Bro, you're so strong." I'm like, "But I'm hurting. Like, yeah, I'm showing up strong, and I'm still hurting, but I know that's how I have to show up, right?" We You can be emotional and still lead, but here's the thing, and I've talked about this before, is that when it comes to leading and when it comes to doing certain things, I have to get out of that emotional state and be logical about what it is I'm being logical about. So that's another big part. But again, these things can coexist with each other. And another piece of it was, to me, it's like, I don't I realize is you don't have to have it all together to keep going. That's been my motto. If you follow me on social media, I always make a caption just say keep going. And that's what I'm going to do. I just have to keep going. I have to keep rocking and rolling. I have to keep showing up and keep doing the things I need to do, because that's what he will want me to do. He wouldn't want me to slow down. He wouldn't want me to stop. One thing I am grateful for, and um that I'm proud, is that he told me he was proud of me. He said in his way, like, "Proud of you, son." Right? I'm proud of you, player. Like, you doing it. He was proud of all his boys. Like, my crew, they all called him pops because we all ran through there over the past 20 or so years, running through the crib, man. He was proud of all of us. So, just thinking about hearing him say he was proud of me was something that keeps me going. And I say that to say this, like, are we telling people that we're proud of them? Are we telling people good job? Are we telling people that, keep up the good work? Are we telling people that, hey, I see what you're doing? Are we giving people their flowers while they're here? Because we don't know what that can do for them in a time that we're no longer here. And I'm pretty sure he knew that when he told me, like, hey, I'm proud of you, son. Is that, man, that's what I needed to hear. And he made sure he let me hear that, you know. And that's gonna be my message for you all. Like, appreciate your people while they're here. One thing I can say that I am proud of, that I'm grateful of, is that I damn near got to see him every single day. I got to watch two things that to be able to happen. Michigan football, their last championship was 1995. I got to see them do it again in 2013. Hell, Michigan basketball, their last championship was 1989. So getting to see that with him was a big thing. But appreciate the people while they're here. Have those conversations. Don't wait to check in. Don't wait to call people. Don't assume that time is guaranteed, because we know that shit is not. And you know, Yeah, just tell your people you love them, man. Tell the people you're proud of them. Tell the people good job. Like it could be something as that is like, hey, I just want you to know I see what you're doing and I'm proud of you. Because you don't know how that can help them in the time that they need it. And I'm gonna keep this short and sweet, because I just want to work through it. But again, I want you all to just love on your people while you can, and then for us that's dealing with what that looks like. What is the legacy that we can continue to push forward for the people that's no longer here? For my people that's dealing with this, or everybody's going to potentially deal with it, but just know you grieve how you grieve. Nobody else can tell you how to grieve. Your timeline for grief is your timeline. It's not nobody else's timeline. What worked for somebody else may not work for you, but you have to work through it. And another thing that I notice about myself in the situation is that I am not shutting people out, which I am. People know I'm good at that. I've been more open. I've been more vulnerable with talking about the situation. I've been more vulnerable with letting people know, like, man, I fucking broke down crying like a baby one night just out of nowhere because of the situation. You know, I realize that that's okay. I realize it's okay to grieve how you're gonna grieve, and I am just grateful and blessed that I have an amazing support system, and I have people there that's making sure that I'm coping in a good way. Like I can't work out for a while because I fucked myself up, but maybe that was the sign. Like, hey, bro, sit down and just relax, and and just go there. And I I, I just want to say this message to my old man is thank you for everything. Thank you for showing up the way you showed up. I am going to make you proud. I am not going to let you down. I am going to go even harder. I am going to impact a million people in a positive way to show you that I, you showed me what to do. I'm glad I got to spend those years with you. I'm glad that my mother got to spend those years with you. And I love you, man. You're my dog, player, and I'm gonna show up the way I need to show up to make sure that I make you proud and I do what I'm supposed to do. I love you, pops. I love you, and for you all, if you're going through this and you need somebody to talk to, holler at me. Just remember, don't take anything or anyone for granted. Time isn't promised to none of us, and I love you all. Thanks for checking into another episode of Breakthrough Blueprint, the podcast where we help you tap into your full potential. See you next week. Peace.